Right, here we go then with another one. This is going to be part 3. Now this is. And this is going to be an introduction to sculpting. 3D sculpting. And I'm going to try and create 2 head busts. Nothing complex really, but I'm going to kick off with an alien head. Introduce you to some of the brushes and some of the workflows. As I've mentioned in all my videos, be sure to download the PDF. There's some really good information in there. Right, so obviously this is a default Blender file where you get your camera, cube and light. So let's just hide that collection. And let's set up the workflow for sculpting. What we're going to do then, we'll add a mesh. Let's go for a icosphere. That's a decent start, that is, for a head bust, for example. Remember N. N brings your menu up the side. T, the other side. So we've got our icosphere there. Let's add a modifier. Generate. Subdivision. Let's bump that up to 2. And let's apply that. Now what we want to do now, we'll go into sculpt mode. That's brought up our brushes. And I like to go to size, say, I think it's 34. And that way you can see all the brushes there. You can see all your brushes. Let's try 35. 36. Yep, that's got all your brushes available now. So you've got clay strips, draw, inflate, grab. So all these. You go over the top, it'll bring up a little tooltip, Snakehook, clay thumb, draw sharp, crease sharp. So what you want to do, you want to get your grab brush, F to increase your brush size. And let's just start pulling a little shape there. So undo that, let's go into X. You hit X there, you've got your symmetry. So, X. Let's bring up Epic Pen as well. Epic Pen. F. Remember, F brings your brush size down. Epic Pen. I'm just going to bring that up to highlight a few things. So you've got your symmetry there by hitting X. F. Let's start shaping his head a little bit into like an alien kind of head. So we're just using the grab brush here. Start shaping a bit of a head. I've got some reference on my other monitor. Various alien head reference. Not going to copy it to a T or nothing like that. Remember, this is just an intro, so just trying to get a basic simple shape there. Bring that out there. And then this is your resolution, so it's not a great sort of resolution. You can see like all the different edges and faces and stuff. So you want to go to remesh there. Let's try it with a voxel size of 0.1. Turn off your wireframe. That could work. 0.1 voxel size there. So if you go into remesh there, it gives you a voxel size, and that's basically resolution, really. If you go into wireframe, it's give you more polygons to work with. If you want to stick to a lower sort of resolution to start with, you just hit remesh, by the way, to remesh it. So let's work with that for a bit and start blocking in some of the landmarks. Remember F to resize. So we've used a grab brush. Another good brush to use, clay strips. And if you go to this tool here, just move this epic pen. You've got different settings there for the brush. I mean, I like to leave it pretty much at default, but I do like to have the tip roundness at something like 3.5. There's your strength there. That's how much you can sort of dig in or dig out. So if you hold Control, let's set it to 0.45. If you hold Control, you're digging into the mesh there now. So digging in. If I'm holding Control, I'm digging into the mesh to create like obviously a kind of pit for the eye. We're only blocking at the minute, it's blocking in some simple shapes. Digging into the mesh, spinning round. Best to work with, as I say, lower res and landmarks to start with. So here, we're just digging into the side, so he's got obviously a bit of a temporal line. Another brush we can use, draw, and that pulls the surface out, so create a little bit of a brow. If you go back to grab now, eyes look a bit high, so bring these eyes down. Back to your clay strip. Try and define a bit of an alien eye shape, which is a bit, I don't know, teardrop-esque, I guess. Another brush is good, draw sharp. That's really digged in, digged in. Grab, just move that up for a little mouth shape. Another good brush. You've got mask brushes here. So if you click that, you've selected like you have to have your overlay on to view it. So you can create like a box mask. Really. Mask, clear mask, because that's selected the back facing. Personally, I just like to use this mask here. So you can draw in a roundish sort of shape for a neck. If you go to mask, smooth the mask a bit, and then mask, invert the mask. What you can do now, hit G, which is grab, F to resize your brush. Let's bring this neck down, so he's got like a neck shape. There's his neck shape. Mask, clear the mask. It looks a bit strange from the side, so let's pull this in. You look from the bottom, knock that off there. You need a roundness, it's not as flat. Let's get a kind of roundness doing. Yeah, that's curving in there. The roundness. Just close that. Actually, I'll keep that open. Use it a lot. Let's bring these eyes down. Let's go to clay strips. Blocking a very simple nose. Draw sharp. And have like the nostril. There. Now, let's have a bit of a moving session. So, move these eyes in a bit. Move this in. There. Move this mouth down. And a bit of a... Bring this out. We've got more of a cranium. You always get a kind of... See that line there? Kind of a temporal line. You get that on other characters. So, remember, you can switch to... I like to use this second one. I do. Gives more light. So, let's give us a bit more shadows. But I also like to go to matte cap and use this one as well. Checking the character with different lighting. Just move this mic a bit. Just using the grab brush, move things around. Let's go to clay strips. Let's try and dig in a bit. So we're digging in there. Waiting control. So control and sculpt over it, digging in. Let's dig these eyes in a bit. Grab brush again. Look at it from different angles. That'll come in, I think. I think what we'll do now, we'll go to Remesh and try 0.05. Remesh. Let's give us more resolution there, so let's go to draw. Digging a bit higher. This brow's a bit suspect. So let's knock that back up to a default. 0.5. Add this brow there. I think we'll draw sharp and create something down here. Increase that. Try and dig in there. Grab brush, move that. I mean, this isn't going to be a perfect alien thing, but I'm just giving you an idea of sculpting, really. I'm always rotating, so look from a different angle. Let's bring that. And then there, you can see a bit of a silhouette we've created there. See there, the. More visual interest than just a linear line. So we've got symmetry on, so it's happening both sides at the minute. Another good brush. smooth. But you want, I like to have smooth at about 0.4. And you can smooth it out a bit and you don't destroy all the details. And you want to be thinking about anatomy, really. So, in anatomy, you've got a muscle called the sternocleidomastoid. I know this is an alien, but you still want to be sticking to, you know, a little bit of anatomy. So even though it's an alien, it's obviously got anatomy. So, I haven't got it. I've turned X off there for some reason. For some reason I turned symmetry off there. Let's just block this in. F. Blocking the sterno. Blocking the sterno there. Let's turn it. Symmetry back on. That's too straight there. Grab bush to let's bring that out. Another decent brush. Flatten. So let's flatten that there. You're creating a plane. There you go. Flattening the mesh there. Grab brush. Let's bring that in. Bring that out. From a different angle. More roundness. Now his eyes down a bit. Draw. Right. Let's bring that out a bit there. Bring that up. I think what we'll do now, we'll get some eyes in there. So we want to go to object mode. We'll go to add mesh sphere. I like to see my wireframe. So let's rotate that 90. Let's scale that. Uniform. Let's move that to there. Up to there. I think we'll scale it a bit. Yeah, so it's a bit more oblong. Rotate that there. There's that there. It's a basic kind of eye. Move that in. And then what we can do now is grab the eye, generate a mirror modifier, give the alien it a mirror object. Come out of there, then we can start working on the eye more. Now we've got some. See this down here? Objects has values on it. Not showing it now, but what you want to do is you want to reset the values. Control A, all transforms to delta. And when you go into sculpt mode, you're not going to get any issues. Another little command, Alt and Q, I'm hitting Alt Q. when you're in Sculpt mode, if you hover over a mesh and it Alt Q, you select that. So, back to sculpting this alien. Let's have this pushing out a bit. I think it would be good to get a bit of a eyelid in there. So I think what we'll do, increase that to 0.03. Remesh it. We got some more resolution there. So draw sharp's a good one. So increase the brush size. Decrease it, sorry. Dig in there. Dig inwards. You obviously need more resolution, but we're just digging it in for now. Then we'll have it going round there as well. I'll have this lid all the way around. But we'll need to increase the resolution a bit. Let's do a bit more blocking first. Let's get the grab brush. F. Bring this down. More of an oblong shape. The eye sits. Crease sharp is a decent one as well. Digging into there. Nose shape. But yeah, crease sharp. I like to have it at about 0.45. Let's like create a simple little nose wing. Yeah. And that can go up there. Smooth so it peters out. Smoothing so the nose kind of peters out. Mouth. Now we need to be thinking about a mouth shape now as well. So let's try and let it go. This down. Up. Let's bring that in. Bring that down. Just using the grab brush. Pulling a shape. Looking for the roundness from a different angle. Looking for the silhouette there. Let's grab the flatten. Let's just flatten his temp up it here. It looks like he's got a bit of a bone structure. A bone there. Generally you get a kind of Z shape. It goes down, down, very like a bit of a Z. That's what you generally get around the brow area. So let's draw. Intensity of about 4. Waiting control here to dig in. And then I'm bringing this up here a bit. Control to dig in. Bit of a cheekbone. And then sort of your zygomatic arch there. Not like a zygomatic arch it's called. Generally it's that kind of thing. I know this is an alien, but like I say, you got to stick to some little bit of reality kind of thing. Yeah, we've blocked in the zygomatic arch. Let's go over that. Sternomastoid down there. Let's dig in a bit there. So he's got a bit of a pit in his neck. We're digging in with control and clay strips. Bring that in so he's got a bit of a thinner neck. Yeah. That's a bit too potent there. So if you hit shift, you can smooth that out. You'll use that a lot, shift. Move the out a bit. I think we'll go to, we'll have some kind of, I don't know, gills kind of thing there. What we need to do now, remesh again. We'll try 0.01 remesh. If you go to overlays, statistics, you'll see that 360,000 polygons. So I want to stick to about 1 million, I guess. I mean, you can handle quite a few polys now, Blender. It's got a lot better. So let's get the grab brushed in. Let's just start moving this eyelid. Yeah. Move this eyelid out. Let's try inflate. Inflate it out. I'll tell you what we want to do. We want to go to File, Save, Blender Fundamentals course, beginning Blender. That. Part 3B. But yeah, I was a naughty boy there. I never saved it. Got to 26 minutes, 27 minutes, and not saved. Right, so draw sharp now. Digging in. Draw sharp, digging into it. So as you can see, I haven't used a ton of brushes really, but to show you another different one, Snakehook. It's had some little antenna kind of things on him here. Snakehook. It's added like a tiny little antenna horn kind of things with Snakehook. I mean, like I've said, be sure to download the PDF because there's a lot more details in there about brushes. Just wetting me whistle, man. Drink water as well when you're working. I'm guilty of not drinking enough. Oh yeah. Let's we've still got that draw sharp. Let's dig into there. Let's dig in a little bit to create a filter. Dig in there to create a bit of a nose wing. Dig in there to the nostril. Bring it up there, smooth it to peter it out. Grab brush, let's bring that in there, the eye. And you can also use draw sharp with control, bringing that outwards. Instead of going with control it out, without control, digging in. Created a bit of a gill kind of thing. It's usually a little line here, smooth it out. Again, control, we draw sharp, bring the line out. Control and draw sharp, bring the line out, smooth it there a bit, dig inwards. Just create a little crease there and dig out, smooth it. Then what we're going to do now, we're going to go over the whole thing with shift. I'm just going to smooth it out a bit. I'm just going over the whole thing with shift, smoothing it. You want to do controlled smooth, really. You don't want to knock the strength down. You'll destroy the details if you smooth it too much in the forms. So just smoothing the mouth there. Let's grab play strips, create a bit more form on this mastoid muscle. There we are. And there. Control, dig inwards. Then you've got a little bit of a separation there. And you've got your trapezius muscle there. It slats into the back of your head. There you've usually got a C7 vertebrae. Right. Clay strips, digging in. I use clay strips quite a bit. And the main thing we want to sort now, just grab, bring that. Is the resolution, really. It's the main thing we want to try and sort. Let's bring that in a bit. Tap smooth. Remesh. Let's try 0.008. Let's remesh that. And let's see what poly count we're on. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to remesh. So, hit your overlays. Bumped it up to 5, 6, 7. So let's undo that. Let's try 0.007 remesh. 750,000. That's not bad. Right. Shift. Let's smooth this out now. It's not so messy. We're smoothing out around here now. This eyelid shape. Grab brush. F. And let's just move this lid so it's not as messy. We're just using grab here now. And we're just moving this so it wraps onto the eye. It's not as messy. Too many bumps on it. A small grab brush. Move it around, just bring that nose in while we're at it. Bring that in there. Then again, let's go to crease sharp, brush size down, dig into this. Dig in. And dig in all the way around. Crease sharp. Nice little brush. Bit like damn standard in ZBrush, if you use that. Crease sharp is. Dig in. Let's inflate. Inflate this out. I think we'll use draw sharp. We need to dig in a bit, don't we, there? So digging in there. And then again, grab. Looks like it's a bit different there. What we'll do now, we'll turn X off. We're just working on the one side. We'll do something that's known as breaking the symmetry, so it's not as symmetrical now. Kind of like bring that up a bit. So it's not dead symmetrical. Up a bit. Bring the mouth up there. It's not as contrived kind of thing. At a different angle, bring that out. We need to create a bit of a plane on this lid here. So let's flatten. We could possibly do with some more resolution. Let's just we're using the flatten brush now. I'm just going over the top of this to flatten it a bit. Create a plane. So you've got the crease there, which is a bit messy on a lid. And this plane there. So yeah, it's a decent brush flatten. Just going around flattening. Remember, matte cap. Look at it with a different material. Keep flattening. Flatten. It's a bit messy on a. Looks like we need to inflate that out a bit. Enough. Yeah, let's go to draw. Bring that out. Then back to flatten. Just flatten that in. And to the other side as well. Flatten that. Back to studio. Flattening around there. I've been going 40 minutes. I only want to spend 45 minutes really on this because I wanted to do another bust as well to give you an intro. So I only really only spending about another 5 minutes. It's far from perfect this, but it's definitely give you an intro to the ideas, how you go about sculpting. I'll create a lid there. Not too happy with this, it's a bit messy this is here, but needs more work. Let's just smooth that for now. Smooth, smooth. Draw sharp here. Draw sharp. Draw sharp. And then we'll keep that off for now. Let's just create a bit of a variation in the brow. Put that on for now. Oh, I don't know, round there like that kind of thing. Get out. A little bit more round there. Smooth that out a bit. Draw brush just to bring this out. Down there. Draw sharp. Bring that in. Move it a bit. G to grab to bring that up. What we can do then, we can go to mask. Mask that out. Grab. Actually, I think let's just clear that mask. We haven't really got time. But you can mask that out and then bring the lip down. But I'm rushing a bit now just to get through the end bit. Just conscious that this is going on quite a while, this. But let's give you an intro there. You can remesh it again to 1,000,000, say, or more, and then add more details. But that is just a little intro there into some of the techniques of 3D sculpting. Little line there. Just using this draw sharp, carving a few things there. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much just an intro to the brushes and sculpting. If you go into object mode, select that, right click, shade smooth, and your eye's smoother there. So that's a basic alien head. Needs a lot more work, but let's give you an intro to some of the brushes. And then we'll explore a few more brushes as well next. So, there you go. Alien. Head. F2. Eyes. There's your basic alien head. Alt Q. Remember to select the other object. Just plateau brush there just to bring that out, smooth it. If you control, you can bring it inwards. There you go, there's your basic alien head. Like I say, if you increase the polys, which I'm not going to do now, you can start carving in, say, more details here, like that. And then further on down the line, I'll show you about alphas, which you can drag over the top to create things like pores and like that. Just creating a bit of a few little things there. I haven't done a lot of work around this area, but a few veins maybe. But that's best done with alphas. But yep, that's 45 minutes. That's your alienid. I'll just show you quickly. If you select, if you move that up to there, say, and hit this brush here, use paint. You can actually paint it. But we're going to be doing more of that in the texturing, really. So we'll undo that. And we'll just leave that grey for now. So that's your alien. And what we're going to do next is we'll try and create a monster. So let me just pull up a bit of reference. And we'll start off with a monster now. So there's the alien. Let's just finish it properly. Let's just grab the eyes, grab the head, Control P, keep transform. Have I done that with the right one? Yep. So let's close that. I think I named it wrong, but let's crack on with this monster then. Right, so add mesh. Let's go for an icosphere again. You don't have to add the subdivision. So what we'll do, we'll go straight into sculpt mode. And that's another good tip for you there. Look, if you hit R on your keyboard and then move left and right, you can actually bring up, instead of typing it there like I did before, if you hit R, you can bring up a grid. So let's just go for, I don't know, just go for point. Go for that to start with. Let's get grab and let's get moving. Let's try and get some on symmetry on, don't we? There you go, that's the right view. So let's get symmetry on, turn that off. Let's try and block in a basic monster then now. The second part of this sculpting intro. So I was pretty much just going for the brushes before, but this one, I'll try and explain it more as I go. So grab's just pulling out a basic shape, really. I use that a lot at the start to get the shape. So monster head. Let's have a look at this bit of reference I got. I only got a few reference images, but let's try and do like a roaring monster kind of thing. So you want just using the grab brush, pulling this shape. Mask. And paint that. Then mask. I like to smooth the mask and then invert it. And if you go back to your grab and pull out the neck shape. That's your neck. Let's have a thicker neck. There, he's a monster. Mask. Clear mask. Let's bring that down. This is just going to be solid. I don't really know what kind of monster this is, but it's a monster of some kind. It's going to be. But let's bring that out so it's a bit round there. Let's go to the trusty old clay strips. Let's knock your overlays off. Let's start digging a mouth in there. We're in control here. We're digging in to the mesh. Create a mouth. There's the mouth. Let's have the eye. Something like. Should we go for some? We go for some little piggy eyes, shall we? We go for 3 eyes. 1 in the middle. 1 there. Grab brush. Bring that in. So Curious Alt. You'll snap it to an orthographic view. So let's go. Bring that out. There's a roundness. That's the old clay strips. Thick sterno muscle there. F increases your brush size, by the way. F. Now jawline. There. G. Let's bring that in. Let's give it more. Like that. Let's go to remesh. Let's go for 0.03. Let's give us more resolution. Clay strips. Digging in. Create a mouth shape. I'm hitting control there to dig in, remember. What's into the back of the mouth there. If you go to crease sharp, you can go out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Out the back, right in, out, in, out, shake it all about. Out, in, in. So that's the inside of the mouth. Let's get the grab brush. Trusty old grab brush. And it's a bit messy there, so you want to smooth this a bit. So shift, smooth. Shift, smooth. Grab. Bring this down. Looking a bit funky in it at the minute, but go to crease sharp. No. To the neck. Crease sharp in the mouth. Let's hit control with crease sharp. Sort of scribble along there to create a lip kind of shape. And crease sharp, scribbling along, working loosely. Digging in. Let's grab our draw brush. Bring this eye in. Let's grab our clay strips. That's a bit of a brow there, brow there. Temporal line down there. Cheekbone digging out. And the Z shape. Zigamatic there, digging a little bit there, so you don't want to be digging right into the jawline. We've got a bit of a zigamatic arch there. Control S to side. Digging there. Let's make this bigger, monster-esque. Bring that up. Go into here, let's grab crease sharp. And you've got a bit of a right in a plane around there. Digging in with crease sharp. Now let's grab brush. Bring this out. Trim. I think is another one you can use. Trim. Yep, so I like to have the smooth. I like it to have it around about 4.45. That's digging in there. Trim. Similar to Flatten, really. Trim. I think it's a little bit more destructive. Let's grab our draw brush now. Right, it's a brow there. That could go into there and round. Down there, brow shape. And then control, withdraw. Draw. Control, withdraw to dig in. And that could go up there like that. Draw down there. Smooth it out a bit. And what we need to do now, let's just move this up here. Move this. Let's look at it from there. Yeah, we got that pushing out. We got the brow pushing out. There. Then a cleidomastoid there. Clay tubes. Out, in. Out, the trapezius. Grab. Move that out. Right, just flatten that there. I might try and 3D print these as well. Later down the line in my channel, do a bit of polish and do a 3D print. Grab brush, bring that down, bring that out a bit. Up. Down there. That out, that in. That's it. Going out there. Going up a bit. Let's go to object mode. Control S to save. Object. We'll add mesh. Sphere. Rotate the sphere 90. Turn on overlays. Scale. Move. Yeah. Turn it off. I think we'll go for a proper just a ball this time. proper eyeball, opposed to the alien one. So let's just rotate that out so it's looking out a bit. Let's generate mirror modifier. We got one the other side. Then we want to Shift D to duplicate that. We want to knock off the mirror modifier this time. We only want it in the middle. So bring that out. Not like that. And then back into Sculpt mode. Alt and Q. Grab brush. And just start moving that around the eye. I think we'll go to Draw Sharp. I like that little happy accident there. We could have that in there, couldn't we? So he's got you digging in. You can see the kind of like the eye sunken in like it does on a skull. And same for this one, I think. Keep it same sort of anatomy. Dig in there. Digging in. Draw sharp. I mean, as you can see, really, throughout, I haven't used tons of different brushes. The general workflow is that we'll go through it at the end, but you'll use, I don't know, 6 or 7 brushes really. And that's all you'll use 90% of the time. It's the same 6 or 7 brushes. They get the job done. It's just a superb blender. It's I've been working in 3D many years. Started using 3D in 2005 at university. And Blender's the best software of the lot, if you ask me. I love ZBrush still, ZBrush. But, and I'll always use ZBrush. ZBrush if you're American, but Blender's superb. Really is. So we're just using grab now, pulling a few, looking from the top, creating a bit of a better silhouette. I like the idea of that coming out, just thinking of the alien creature a bit. On one of them where his back comes out. Bringing that in. And then really you want to start getting teeth in there now. So we go to draw, start creating a bit of a template. So control, dig in. Control to dig in. I'm not going to add as many teeth as I'd like due to the time constraints, but let's give you a template now for teeth. You got an idea where to put them. So control S. Let's go into object now. Let's go to object. Add mesh cylinder. I like to see my overlays, like I keep saying. Scale that. Scale it in Z. Move it to the side so you can see what's what. And don't forget, keep drinking water. Gotta drink more water. So let's go into Sculpt mode. Remember that, look, the scale, you'll get this warning. Keep missing it. You want Control A, all transforms to deltas. It's nice and clean. So, Sculpt mode. Let's remesh this. Let's just start pulling this grab brush, pull this around. We've just created a cylinder, remeshed it to 0.1, and we're just pulling this into a shape of a tooth, pretty much. Bit messy, I could have done it better, but let's try 0.3. That's better, 0.3. Not as much resolution to start with. So remember that. Lower resolution to start. Just move that. Pull that down. In there. Bit of a bend to it. And it's not the best tooth in the world. Let's remesh that at 0.1. Bit more resolution, bit more sharpness on that tooth. And what we'll do now, we'll go into object mode, overlays, object set origin, origin to geometry, scale that, move it to, move it to there, so it's in the hole, so we're just using the default move. I'll scale it a bit. Yeah, it's in the hole there. What I'm going to do now, Shift D, move it to there. Shift D again, move to that hole. Shift D again to there, Shift D again to there. And then let's just vary them a bit so they're not 100% same. That's the teeth. But I think it'd be better if we grab rotate. Maybe bring him out a bit. So when he closes his mouth. So rotate, yeah. When he closes his mouth, it doesn't go into his mouth kind of thing. Let's come out of that. Let's grab that, let's move it back, move it back. That's the one side. Go into sculpt mode, move this out. Just going over the teeth there. I think what we'll do now is these teeth here. If you hit Control J, you've joined them as one. What you can do now is go to Generate Mirror Modifier. That's mirrored it. There's the teeth. That's your top teeth. Sculpt mode. So the uniform scale at the bottom. You'll forget that. I always forget it. Really, you should be setting it back to 0. What we'll do now, if you've got them teeth there, if we apply that, and then Shift D to duplicate, rotate it like that, move it to there, you've got the bottom teeth. Let's scale it. Let's scale that there. Let's move that down, move that to there. Let's go into sculpt mode. And let's move these teeth in there. Just create a little bit of variation. Alt Q to select these, create a bit of variation. Alt Q again. Nice. I'm just creating a bit of variation on the teeth. Nothing polished or things like that, because we're on an hour and 10 minutes. Never going to do anything longer than an hour and a half, I've found. So, moving these teeth here. Let's select this mesh. Let's just start doing a bit of work on this head then now. So, let's inflate. Let's create a bit more on this jaw bit here. It's got a bit more depth and form to it, bringing that up. Grab brush. Let's have it sort of, so it goes down a bit, up a bit, down, down, up, down. So it's not as linear kind of thing. I'll increase the noise there. Down, up, up. Kind of thing. Zygomatic arch is a bit potent. Let's just look there. Let's bring that in. Bring that out. Let's grab clay strips. Let's do a bit more sculpting on the form. There. Sternomastoid muscle. Down there. Bit of the neck. Zygomatic arch. Down there, which peters out. Brow. Yeah, like that. Digging a bit there. Let's remesh that to say 0.02. See what that gives us statistically, 250,000. Yeah, let's just go for that for a minute then. Let's go to let's go for draw. More brow there. Another brow there. Brow. Smooth brush. Get rid of some of them nasty looking polygons. Smooth. Draw to bring it in. Draw, draw. F. I'll grab brush. Needs to be wrapping around the eyeball there. Now wrap that around the eyeball. I think we need draw sharp. Dig in a bit more there. Digging in. Dig. Dig in. Dig, dig, dig. That's me. I'm a mole. Digging. Digging in. Far from perfect. Like I keep saying, it's just an intro. Sculpting. If you have no idea of the workflow. Dig there. Dig. Control. Yeah. To dig out. Dig out. Let's say he hasn't really got much lips. He's a monster. So let's sort of go that kind of thing. And then just create. Grab the grab brush. Bring that in there. Alt Q to grab the teeth. Bring them in. And the teeth in so they've come away from the guide holes there. Alt Q to grab that. Really. No. Grab the teeth again. No. In. Alt Q. Let's remesh that to say 0.008. See what that gives us. Just wait for it to calculate. 1.5 million. That's That's quite a lot, that. It's not really these days in Blender, it's not that much. I'm using smooth now just to go over everything, smooth everything out a bit. Smooth. These eyes are a bit... not too happy with these eyes. So, going to flatten. Let's create a bit of a lid on these eyes. So flatten's a good brush for creating a plane. Using the grab brush there. And let's flatten again. Flatten around here. I'm rushing a bit now, so I want an hour and a quarter, so I don't want to go more than an hour and a half. Flatten. Nothing really to flatten there. So if you bring that out, it'll give you more stuff to work with. Really, we need to draw there to pull it outwards. Draw there to pull it out. Back to flatten. Just rushing a bit like I said, but flatten in there. Flatten. If we go to draw sharp with control, knock the brush size down, we can pull it out onto there. Draw sharp. Pull the lid outwards. Draw sharp. Run it round the lid. Brought it out there. You do the same there. Draw sharp. All that around. Brought it out. Subtle smooth. Go to grab. Just around with this eye shape a bit. Let's go to lift, smooth it out. Look at it from a distance, smooth it. Crease sharp. Let's bring this in a bit higher. Crease sharp around there. Same with this, crease sharp. Crease sharp there. And if we keep that crease sharp, we can try and create a bit of switch to grab by accident there. Crease sharp. Let's go control. Bring this all out. Go crease sharp with control pressed. And just bring in there, and then crease sharp without control, just creating some dirtiness there around the mouth. Just crease sharp in there, crease sharp, and at the bottom, crease sharp with control. It looks like there's some form where the teeth are coming out. Crease sharp. So remember, I'm hitting control here to bring this out. And then I'm doing it without control to bring it in, just creating some dirt. Really. And then more kind of, I want to get it a bit more monster-like. So, we've got crease sharp. Let's start creating some sharp bits here. Sharp here. And down here. Going around creating a bit of dirt on it. Again, around here. Creating some dirt. Kind of like. Let's go into matte cap. Let's create some lumps and bumps. Remember, he's a monster. Oh, now to cover up a little lumps and bumps there. Yeah, around there. Into there, along the temporal line. Yeah. Round. Pull outwards. Not outwards there, but say outwards there. Inwards. More of a transition there on the sterno. Back to our studio light. I'm just working with draw sharp here now. Create some form transition. Julie. This lovely so he's a bit more evil looking. Pull this down. A bit more evil looking eye. Checking the silhouette. Looks a bit suspect from there. We'll bring that out. That out there. I'm not going to be adding much more, but let's give you a good idea how you go about sculpting in Blender. Maybe bring that out a bit. Draw sharp. Around there, a bit of dirt. Around there. Let's flatten that there a bit so it looks a bit more like it's anatomy. Flatten there. It's going to draw. Let's bring that brow out a bit. Just catching a bit of light. Brow there. Brow around there. Dig in. Right, a bit of a double mastoid. Smooth out round there. Digging a little bit there. That's going to be it really. I'll spend the last few minutes talking about some more of the brushes. So you've got blob. So that creates little blobs, I believe, on the surface. Useful for some tertiary details. In general, you've got primary, secondary and tertiary details. Primary is your main shape. Secondary, your main forms, and tertiary, things like this and pores. That's your blob. Clay, that's similar to clay strips, really creates form. We've used a lot of these, crease sharp, draw sharp, inflate, we've used that. That's useful for basically inflating things. Let me just do a bit of smoothing in this mouth. A bit more smoothing, not smoothing, creasing, sorry, in the mouth. It's a bit more monster-like. Just tweak a few little forms there. The jaw. But yeah, where do we get to? I mean, some of the layer, I think that creates like have a few things like that, for example. I don't really use layer too often. That was for flattening, wasn't it? Deepen and fill. Create a bit of a form there, sorry. Scrape, multiplane. I think that's similar to the flatten, really. Scrape. Smooth we've used. Trim. Bit like the plateau, but more destructive. Boundary. Not 100% sure of that. Elastic grab. Similar to the grab brush. You got your Snakehook, which I think I showed you earlier, the Snakehook. Choose for pulling out a shape like that, really, Snakehook. Thumb, not 100% sure of that. Twist, literally creates a twist. It's a strange one, twist. Sorry, like a twist shape. Mask, we've used that to mask out different sections. That's blending in paint mode and painting tools. I mean, there's not a super amount of brushes really that you need. You don't need them. I like to go on the concept of KISS, which is keep it simple, stupid. You don't need to be going over the top. A lot of the stuff we've used, you see me on here, is what you'll use for the bulk of your sculpts, really. They're just drawing sharp there, similar to the crease. We'll just select that and shade it smooth while we're at it. Shade smooth. So that's an intro to sculpting, that is. We've created an alien bust head and a monster head bust. So I'm hoping that's give you an idea of how you go about and approach sculpting in Blender. I think it's best, obviously, as well, if you download that PDF. I'd really recommend that because that goes through some of the brushes as well for you. It gives you more details which you need, and you can print that off, have a look at it. So yeah, highly recommend that. Link will be in the description for that. And create a bit of variation on the teeth as well. Obviously you can go to town really on all this, but yeah, I think that's a decent little introduction really for you to sculpting. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I'm just about to hit an hour and a half, and I never want to go above an hour and a half. I think it's a bit much, so if I do have to go above that in the future, I'll split it into more parts. So yeah, there you go. There's your intro to 3D sculpting. An alien head and a monster head. So I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks. Bye.